Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast, and in today's video, we are going to discuss National Signing Day as the Red Raiders look to have secured a top 25 class for the first time since 2011. If you were excited about what Joey McGuire, James Blanchard, and all of the player development team at Texas Tech football is doing, just give a simple like of the video. That's all we ask. I'm super excited to talk about this recruiting class because from top to bottom, this truly is arguably the best recruiting class on paper. Obviously, you got to have on-field results that Texas Tech has ever had. It's right up there with the 2011 class who produced a ton of players, including DeAndre Washington and some other guys you may know, maybe a guy like Jason Morrow. I'm sure you've heard of him as well. But on today's video, we're going to break down everybody that signed already for Texas Tech. And it is a laundry list of guys as, again, I'm excited to really talk about 5 of these guys. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, be sure to do that. I've already talked about some of the 5 guys that really stand out to me in this recruiting class. But let's start from top to bottom. And here we go. Everyone I am about to mention has already signed their national letter of intent, so they will be Red Raiders. You got Jordan Sanford, the safety, the 4-star safety from Arlington, Texas, Mansfield, Timberview. Then you got Isaiah Crawford, who'll be talked about a little bit later, the 4-star edge out of Post, Texas. You got Brenden Jordan, the 4-star safety out of Mansfield. You have a possibility to have 2 guys in Sanford and Jordan play alongside each other for the next 3 or 4 years at the safety position and really be one of the best combos of safeties Texas Tech has ever had on this campus, right? We talked about Dylan Spencer earlier in the week, the flip from Texas to Texas Tech. He has officially signed the 4-star defensive lineman. Then you got Tyrone West. We'll talk about him a little bit later as well. The Humble, Texas guy, the wide receiver. Shout out to James Blanchard for correcting me on a stat I'll read out later on Tyrone West on Twitter. Coach Blanchard has been all up in my mentions. I appreciate that. He's done a phenomenal job at putting this class together. You got Anquan Willis. You got Nick Fattig as well. And this is a guy I'm going to talk about as well because I think he could be an impact player right away for Texas Tech. You got Ansel Nedore. Then you got Daniel Sill, you got Kelby Valsin, you got Marquez Stevenson, Jmaury Davis, another guy we'll talk about here in a little bit. Dylan Shaw, you got Demarion Crest Daniels from El Paso. You got the quarterback of the bunch, Jake Strong. A lot of people excited about him, and rightfully so. You got Chapman Lewis, you got Jayden Cofield, you got Justin Horne, another guy we'll talk about here in just a little bit. Kaden Carr, you got Marcus Ramon-Edwards, a guy that's right there from the 806, went to Trinity Christian School. Then you got Miquel Dingle Jr. and then John Curry. All of those guys have signed 22 out of the 25, and we expect the other 3 to sign later on after this video is posted. So you're going to get everybody you got in your recruiting class to sign, more than likely. Then you got Quincy Leddit, who went from ULM to Texas Tech in the portal. And then arguably your starting safety in CJ Baskerville from San Diego State, now a Red Raider. So going to be a lot of fun talking about this. And again, when you look at just from the composite ranking of this, Texas Tech is ranked 22 nationally. And for those that don't know what a composite rank is, it's 24/7, Rivals, On3, ESPN, all of them put together, and then it's an average on where that team ranks. Currently on 24/7, Texas Tech is 25. Over on Rivals, they're 21, but composite right now, they're 22, and that would be the highest ranked recruiting class in officially year number 1 of Joey McGuire since that 2011 class. And again, I mentioned some of the names earlier in this class, but you had Jason Morrow, you had Kenny Williams, LaRaven Clark, Bradley Marquez, Brendan Jackson, DeAndre Washington. Who else did you have in here? J.J. Gaines, Irving, Texas native. You know I got to give us Irving shout out right there. Sam Aguavin, Jakeem Grant. So many impact players for Texas Tech were in that class. And this class is right up there with them, at least on paper. You're hoping they can have an impact like 2011 because if so, man, sky's the limit for Texas Tech football at that point. Before we get into the 5 guys that really stand out for me in this recruiting class, all I ask you to do, is hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,500 subscribers, and when we do, Lyle and I will be having a giveaway of Texas Tech merchandise. Let us know what you're thinking about wanting down below. Within reason, people. We're not going to go spend, $2,000 or $3,000 on something, but we want to get y'all something nice because we appreciate the hell out of y'all for being here and really interacting with us on a daily basis. So again, one more time, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, why don't you hit the like button as well? All right, so I've got 5 guys in this recruiting class that I am just really excited about for a multitude of reasons. And again, I tweeted this out earlier. I have a thread about it. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, it's at RCMB323. But the guys that stand out to me in this class, first and foremost, it's Isaiah Crawford. I think Isaiah Crawford is the best player in this recruiting class for Texas Tech. I think he is the definition of a true impact player as a true freshman. He has serious bend on the outside as an edge rusher, and he doesn't lose any speed while doing it. He can go out and drop back into coverage and create mismatches there with his 6'4" frame when he doesn't lack any speed as well. So I'm super excited to see how he kind of comes in and really what kind of role he has. Is he going to be the backup to Joseph Adedire, or is he going to be more of a Josiah Pierre guy where he's just strictly basically getting after the passer and then trying to fool the defense by dropping back into coverage a couple times? I'm really excited to see him. Again, this guy that I'm about to mention, I think he could impact the offensive line more here in the next 2 or 3 years than a lot of guys have in the past 3 or 4. And that's Nick Fattig. He's a dog. He's a straight dog. You got to go watch this guy's film. If you are a fan of pancake blocks or just pancakes in general, watch this guy. He is an absolute dog. He's versatile. He's played left tackle. I think he's probably going to play more inside on the offensive line, whether that's left or right guard. I think that's probably where he'll end up, but he's an absolute dog. Already over 300 pounds, 6'4", just an absolute beast on the inside. Loves handing out pancakes left and right. And oh, by the way, he's a 2022 national weightlifting champion. So you don't want to mess with him in a dark alley, that's for sure. The guy who I think is the most all-around best athlete in this 2023 recruiting class for Texas Tech is Jmaury Davis. He played running back and strong safety in high school. He was the point guard for his starting high school as well. West Texas kid. He's got 4.4 speed. Let me repeat that. 4.4 speed. It's pretty damn fast. He's going to play running back at Texas Tech. Again, you're losing a guy like SaRodorick Thompson. Plug him right in there. You're going to have a 3-headed monster again this season with Taj Brooks. Obviously, Davis will be there as well. And then you got Cameron Valdez. So, that is a great 3-headed monster. And I suspect that they're going to use Jmaury Davis like they use Cameron Valdez, ease him into a role, hopefully with not the injury side of it, but ease him into a role behind those 2 already proven backs. Again, this recruiting class is built really in 3 areas and on 3 things. It's in the trenches, speed, and versatility. And if you like speed, you're going to like Tyrone West. He is arguably the fastest guy in this recruiting class. I tweeted out that he ran an 11.75 in the 100-meter dash. And shout out to Coach James Blanchard on this one. He corrected me, and he was like, as a junior, he ran a 10.7. I was looking at his sophomore stats. So shout out to Coach Blanchard on that one. Running a 10.7 is just freakish. You've got guys that are running ridiculous speeds on this team, and not to mention his 200-meter speed as a sophomore was 22.5. The guy is an absolute freak, is Tyrone West. And shout out to James Blanchard for making sure I got that stat right about him, because there's updated stuff and sometimes it's difficult to find on the internet. But West is the real deal. He's got true breaking off that top of the defense and the ceiling of the defense speed that Texas Tech hasn't had in a long, long time. And I think he's the guy that can have an impact. Maybe not right away, but I do think over the time and his time in West Texas, he could be a real difference maker. All right, the last guy that I want to point out in this class is a guy that actually in our last video we talked about, and it's Justin Horne. When the moment I heard that they were recruiting this kid and I saw the film, he was a guy that I desperately wanted Texas Tech to target. And the reason being is this. He can do really a multitude of things. He's put his hand in the ground, and not at D end. at DT, right? He's obviously played the linebacker position. He's a long, rangy guy that can go sideline to sideline. The clip that really stands out for me, and Texas Tech posted it in their highlight video of him when he signed, was there's a play where he's on the opposite far hash, 2 or 3 steps closer to the opposing sideline than where the play is going to go. And he runs a beeline straight to the running back on the opposite hash, right? 2 or 3 yards on the opposite hash. So we're talking about the whole distance between the hashes and then probably a good another 6-7 yards on each side, 6-7 feet, on each side. And he just blows up the play. He is a good linebacker, and I think with his high football IQ and his versatility, you could see him on the field very early for Texas Tech. Hell of a recruiting class for Texas Tech. Again, right now, they are the 22nd ranked recruiting class in the class of 2023, the best one since the 2011 class when you had Jakeem Grant, DeAndre Washington, Jason Morrow, and a bunch of other studs, including LaRaven Clark in that recruiting class. Not too shabby for, recruiting out in the desert, if you catch my drift. Joey McGuire and crew absolutely killing it on the recruiting trail. I'm RC Maxfield reminding you one more time, be sure to hit that subscribe button for the latest news and rumors when it's talking about Texas Tech. You know where to go. Of course, I'm talking about the Back to 12 podcast channel.